Frank stopped in front of the Presbyterian church on Main. On Sundays, Frank, a Protestant, took from churches as from a smorgasbord. He was not one to split doctrinal hairs, and sought out good choirs and short sermons. He did enjoy the thrall of Easter service at St. Leo's. Looking up at the steeple, he thought, "Ellie, what do I do?" Silence and bright sunlight were the only replies. "Yes, not going to get any help out of the blue. Have to sort it out alone. I wonder how Irene feels." He turned and walked around the rear of the church to where the pioneer headstones stood, some tipped at an angle. It was a country church before Horton was even built. He sat on a bench under a maple tree with scarlet leaves. "Well, Frank," he thought, "just how do you really feel? Have to start with that. The rest doesn't matter without knowing that. Not what are all her good points and her rain-gray eyes. How do you feel?" "I could easily love her. I could easily ask her to live in Horton with me, married to me, not married to anyone else. Oh, God, absolutely not that. So, that's that. Court her. Get engaged if you're lucky. Long courtships and short engagements. Could take a year. Boys would be older and could get used to the idea. She'd have all that time without disruptions to get prepared. Give everyone in her family and mine time to plan." He waited, half expecting some kind of sign telling him these were dangerous thoughts. He heard only doves and a distant calf bawling. "Yes, I'm thinking I could fall in love again. I could with Irene." He stood up and thought, "You'll never know just sitting around. Have to recognize it's time to get something started. Not going to get any younger." Frank circled the church back to Main. He started up the sloping Mina Street to High Street and his home on the corner. "God love you, Allie. I know I still do. Oh, this is hard. I loved the spirit that lived inside your fragile body. Your strength was in your spirit more than in your frame. That spirit and your constant smile were always enough to prevail over whoever chose to contradict you. Henderson would shake his head and say your smile actually brought customers to the bank. You smiled when our children were born and, after tears, when half of them died. In the end, I could not protect the spirit behind the smile. What you said to me in that hospital will live in me forever. You are my only smile a day."
At noon on that day, Irene had said, "Mother, I want to invite Mr. Wilson for a Sunday with us just as soon as he can get here. He'd be here through dinner, and I'd spend quite a bit of time with him and him alone." "That would be grand, Irene. But this isn't a good time for me or your father to be having company in right now." Mrs. Irene Webb had given life to 10 children, 3 of whom were buried before they reached their 3rd years. When not occupied with her own childbearing, she had seen to the labors of the mares and cows of the farm. She was slightly taller than her husband Hiram, and the upward tilt of her head with its full snow-white hair would have reminded one of a Romanoff countess, had anyone in Nortonville, Kansas, given any thought to what a Romanoff might have looked like. She had a beautiful mezzo-soprano singing voice that had enchanted Irene since childhood. Her breath had not been able to sustain long phrases for the last 4 years, however. Her climb up the stairs was more labored. Her shoulders slumped. Dresses she had worn for years were now loose around her. "Mother, there is no better time than right now, before winter brings more sickness on top of what's already come, before the weather sets in and puts a halt to everything till next year sometime. The men in Nortonville either see right past me or don't fancy what they see. I'm not going to meet a man like Mr. Wilson in Nortonville, and I'm not even sure I can get him to come for a Sunday.